Yeah, pleased for everyone to, thanks everyone for joining. Yeah, look, welcome to the webinar. So this is the webinar session hosted by myself, James Daniel. I'm the founder and director of Precision Grazing. We're a farm consultancy business working with beef and sheep farmers and dairy farmers, of course, across the UK. Our kind of role and mission is then to make, to help guys make better use of grazed grass within the business, and also support that business and its wider team to be happy, healthier, and more profitable and productive as well. And so it's really with that kind of vision and aim that leads us to this webinar with the title, of course, of making grazing and team management easier on dairy farms. So yeah, thanks to those of you who are joining us. The webinar is being recorded, so if you do drop out, hey, don't worry, you can please try and rejoin, but if needed, that's fine. We'll share a copy of the recording with you guys later. Also, we'll be using the sort of chat function for any questions. So if you have a question, by all means, pop it in the chat. You should also be able to find on your screens the Q&A function as well. So for some of you, myself included, it's hidden behind the three little dots. So whether you're joining us on a phone, laptop, or tablet, if you touch the screen once, you'll see three little dots. Press there, it will link you to the Q&A icon. It may be on the screen already, in which case, drop your questions in there, and we'll be pausing to take them as we go through the webinar. So on that topic, on that making grazing and team management easier on dairy farms, we know how fundamental grazing, and particularly grazed grass, is within our dairy production systems. And I know a lot of you joining the call, you're absolutely devoted to making that a fundamental part of the business. And for the same for people. People are, again, essential to our teams and to the success of the business. So really important subjects. And with that in mind, I'm very pleased to introduce and to welcome really Jeremy from AIMA. All the way from New Zealand this week, visiting farms. And Jeremy, you're going to talk to us about AIMA, which is really an app, a platform for measuring grass and for managing the grazing.
Correct, yeah. So yeah, it's great to be on the call, everyone. So yeah, I'm the founder and Chief Technical Officer of AIMA. So yeah, farming background. So sort of, I know the challenges a lot of you have around measuring grass and then making better decisions. So yeah, I'll be covering very much AIMA in that sort of context.
Yeah, fantastic, Jeremy, thank you. And also we're actually sat with Sam Pearson, Director of Pearson Farming, and also co-founder of Tirlun.ai. Sam, thank you. Well, firstly, thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
We are indeed sat in your kitchen.
It looks like it.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, we sort of set this up, so it's a pleasure, thank you. And yeah, perhaps just a brief introduction to yourself, Sam.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Sam Pearson. We're farming in Conwy in North Wales. 2 500-cow, predominantly spring calving, grass-based herds. We've complicated the system a bit the last couple of years and added a second calving block, which are just calving now. But I shouldn't have to pop out to check any because we're working on having a less key person dependent business. That's what we're here to talk about.
Right, fantastic. I know certainly your business is your backstory is an interesting one, Sam, isn't it? You've scaled up, from I guess employment through to now you're managing 2 herds.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm really interested to get into Sam's story and to understand despite being an incredibly busy individual, how he's had the time to go and develop this to further support your business and your future growth, and also as well as wanting to sort of share that and give that opportunity available to other people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, fantastic. So format for today, guys. We're going to do, well, Jeremy, you're going to show a few slides and just give a bit of an introduction as to what is AIMA and how does it work. Sam, you're going to do the same.
Yep.
For Tirlun. And then we'll have a bit of discussion, and of course we'll be taking your questions as well. So if you have a question, please use that Q&A option and type it in there, and then we'll be taking them either through the webinar as they come in or when it's appropriate. Right, okay, well, what we'll do first then, Jeremy, is anything else you want to share before we get into your slides?
No, I think, keen to get into it. Yeah,
okay, fine. Well, look, I'm sort of coming a couple of roles today as host of this, and also sort of driving these slides as well. So let me just go and find your slide, Jeremy, and what we'll do as well is we'll come across there and get rid of that one. Okay, that's great. So drop that out of the way. So hopefully, guys, if you're joining on a phone, if there's anything you cannot see, then by all means just let us know, and we can get Jeremy to, to talk through it. But Jeremy, that first slide I believe is up. If anyone cannot see it, please let us know. Otherwise, Jeremy, it's over to you.
Oh, very good. Yeah. So So I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview around AIMA, what sort of problems it's trying to solve. It was an idea I had, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago. I founded AIMA in 2021 and really looking at the smartphone and being able to use that to measure pasture. So it's great to see it in life and even in UK now in use. So yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Let's see if I can do it for you. There.
Yeah, so I'm sure a number of you have seen this little funny little disc on the side on the left here. So this plate meter has been around for really since about the 1980s. It served farmers well, but there's some challenges. So say if they plug holes, then the plate goes in there, it overestimates the mass. It takes a long time to measure that. So really trying to bring into the 2000s, I guess, in terms of measurement. So the idea was really, everyone's got a smartphone now. They're highly capable, measure pasture, saves a lot of time to do it by the smartphone. So you do a scan and we'll show a little video of it in action. So it just makes now measurement possible. A lot of people say, okay, they want to measure pasture, but often when things are going on, there's a lot going on, and it's one of the things that really goes. So go to the next slide. So so in terms of, I guess, the hidden cost. So I guess there is a saying, you can't manage what you don't measure. During the times of the year where grass growth is very fast, they say that, the difference between a poor farmer and a very good farmer is 1 week. Around those key decisions. And if you don't have that key information source around what's your pasture situation, you are either running on guesswork or experience, and not everyone's experienced. So having that sort of assistant, which is what AIMA is there. So that then flows onto poor decisions, and then you've got lost performance, I guess, at the bottom of the cliff, effectively. So we're trying to change that. So I guess in terms of, what AIMA is fundamentally trying to do, it's trying to increase the amount of pasture that is grown that is eaten. So we often call that as utilisation or feed consumption efficiency. Very small changes in pasture quality, metabolizable energy also have an impact on the bottom line. And then the labour savings. So these are sort of some of the values that we hear from the New Zealand farmers. We've got over 550 New Zealand farmers now. These are the main drivers. And if you convert them to, so this is some UK, I guess, value per unit, that, return on investment from getting those things right, using a digital tool, it adds up to a lot of money over a year, sort of things. So it's a relatively simple concept, really. Get out on your smartphone, and we'll show you a bit of a live example of that in the slides. You scan your smartphone. It's about a 5-second scan. It's a pretty natural thing. It's quite funny when you see some people put it on YouTube or what. I've been scanning it, and happy as Larry doing it there. So it's great to see people doing that. And then what AIMA then does is it then generates a live feed wedge. So when you come in, say tomorrow, there'll be one sitting which is forward forecasted. So really a lot of it's automated, and then you don't necessarily have to come in on your laptop. It's sort of sitting there to ultimately make better decisions. So we really wanted it to be simple, that sort of thing. So I guess we worked with James in Precision Grazing, saw it probably maybe a YouTube. I think that's how I sort of stumbled across it. So we wanted to get the accuracy for United Kingdom. So we did an extensive measurement data collection exercise built on those New Zealand models, which are now, I think, well over 10,000 matching videos with plate meter. And what you'll see here is the accuracy. So really you wanted to get as anything as accurate as possible, but certainly to measure those high covers there and that. So so this is it in action. here. So yeah, it's analyzing the covers as you're measuring. It's computing on your phone. So if you've got poor connectivity, that's not a problem. So you're going to be in a dark spot wherever in the valley. Yeah, it's all good. And it will detect the paddock for you. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. And then I guess if we go a little bit further into what we call, that's the eyes of AIMA, the brain, then is you've got a feed wedge here. It allows you to look at a 14-day forecast, test different scenarios, update that so you make those decisions. Yeah. And then, like I said, if you are poor on time, on the right here, it's actually giving you recommendations on which paddock you might measure on any given day and following those. So yeah, just time saving, but better decisions ultimately to support you. So in terms of UK, so yeah, like I said, I think it's growing pretty fast. We've got even more than this farms now in New Zealand. I think it's more like 550, 560 since the slide. Yeah. Got thousands of UK videos, and you'll see there good coverage around England and Wales. So it's your data. It's Sam's data. He was very active in collecting. That data is making those models. Yeah, it needs a lot of that walking, measuring to get the accuracy that we're seeing. Yeah. So I think there's around 30 farms now. So yeah, with strong use. So yeah, that's just a bit of the history behind it, really. Yeah. So yeah, on tests. Okay, who's it for? So very much for farmers, and I've even heard it now. A lot of people say they're grass farmers that are making milk from that grass. So very much pasture-based that are either already measuring or wanting to, yeah, and then wanting to make better feed decisions from that pasture. So yeah, in terms of UK pricing, so we partnered with Precision Grazing, excellent partner in the UK, and we realised that we're a long way away from UK farmers, so we don't want to be some Kiwis just trying to say something from the end of the world. So yeah, you need someone on the ground that can support you, but there's an extensive tech team back and support team back in New Zealand, so to make sure that it's robust in that. So relatively simple pricing. So yeah, 2 tiers effectively, sort of 1 to 150 hectares, that sort of amount per year. And I guess as part of this, those early adopters, we've got that sort of 30-day free trial up front. If you want to go, and so it's just because we know you're wanting to experience it firsthand in there. So any number of users, so you can have the whole farm team, you can have a consultant on it. There's no limit on the number of measurements. I think there's one farmer in New Zealand that she's up to 5,000. I think she's maybe a little bit addicted to it, but it gets quite addictive doing those scans. Yeah, full onboarding and training, that sort of stuff. So yeah, we know that technology, that's a big part. You need that backing. So, yeah, so I think that's a bit of an overview.
No, that's great, Jeremy. Thank you for that. And also you've been a pleasure to be involved with yourself and the AIMA team. We've always encouraged our clients to measure, and I say encourage very politely. We've now cajoled, poked, elbowed, ribbed, kicked everyone. Not Sam, of course, but it's a critical. Well, that pasture and that grass covered data is absolutely critical in the grazing business, isn't it? It's really critical in all livestock businesses where the animals are out at grass. But it's even if the measuring is prioritised, sometimes there can be a gap there between the grass has been measured, but the data lives on a notebook in the top pocket of the guy who does the measuring, and it takes another half a day or a day or 2 days for him to get the data from the notebook to AgriNet normally, isn't it? And then that's feed through to the team. Yeah. And I guess that's a key person dependency piece, Sam, which you're going to touch on in a bit. We've had a question coming, I think it's relevant to take now.
So does weather condition affect the readings? So say if it's raining.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Can I add to that, Jeremy, as well? Do you want to also talk to the accuracy?
Yeah. So if it's raining, it's going to struggle because it's a visual there. So you certainly in partially cloudy or scattered showers, it can work. But People generally don't want to do too much measuring, so yeah, so it does struggle certainly in the rain because that affects the breeding and that sort of stuff. So,
but cloudy is okay.
Cloudy's fine. Yep.
Yep.
So it doesn't suffer from some other technologies that can't see through the cloud. Yeah, like satellite. So you've got that ability to do it there. So yeah, high accuracy across those sort of things. But you're best to use it in that main part of the day. That sort of stuff. That's where you get the most accuracy.
I'll go in there, James. We've been using it for a year and haven't found any effect with the rain. Obviously, not going out with the phone when it's heavily raining.
Yeah, sure.
Normal Welsh weather, it's been working fine.
Yeah. Right. Okay. And I guess, like all these tools, you need to adjust for on-farm conditions as you would with a plate meter.
Yeah.
As you would with everything you're using, just to be sensible. Okay, that's great. Well, look, that's a nice segue, Sam. Thank you for that. Right. Into yourself. So, yeah, any more you'd like to say before we get into your slides? So?
No, let's start that and then we'll
okay, wonderful, fine. That's not a problem at all. Let me grab that up. And yeah, so I see you can see some questions coming in, guys. So we'll let Sam do his piece and then we'll come back and we'll run through these questions and any more that have come in as well. Okay. Cool. So let me just reach out. I'll just get this presentation in the appropriate position so Sam can get right into it. Okay. So Sam, I got this over to you. I'll draw the slides. You let me know when you want to move on. Okay.
All right. Perfect. Thanks, James. So like I said, I'm dairy farming up in Conwy in North Wales. We're running 2 500 cow units. One's a FBT, farm business tenancy, and a 15-year term. And then the other one is contract farming, 15-year term as well. So we're running the same system in the two places, but slightly different structure. I'm also the founder of Tirlun recently, which is a new digital platform for managing the operational knowledge on the farms. That's what I'll talk about today. So,
okay, awesome, Sam.
Well, this slide's about Pearson farming. It's a very busy slide, but I think it represents us well. It's a busy farm, or 2 farms. And on the top left there, that's Henry Home, which has got a centrally located 34-unit swing over parlour, and the cows produce around 5,000 litres on the 2 farms from about a tonne of concentrates. And then the guys standing in front of the rotary parlour next to it is Kimmel, so the other farm, Kimmel Dairy, which is a centrally located 50-point parlour and the identical system. So really milking through the grass period and then mostly dry in the winter. Okay. Okay. So every farm runs on knowledge. This is kind of what we based Tirlun on, and I'll just talk about the KPD part of this slide. So that's key person dependence. It's something that we probably didn't realise the extent it was affecting our business until we started doing something about it.
Sorry, can you just define that, Sam? So what do you mean by that? And could you include an example?
Yeah, sure. So it's where a lot of the operational knowledge or important knowledge is held with one person or a few people in a team, and the teams may be ever evolving, like dairy teams are, and it causes a lot of knock-on problems. So, for example, if something goes wrong with the water on the farm, it's affecting the cows, the business, all the other people on the farm not able to wash the parlour and stuff, and you're waiting for one person to explain where the tap is or where the mains are and stuff like this. Yeah. So we realised that was a problem in our business with lots of different areas of it, and we developed this platform. I'm not from a tech background at all, no agri-tech or nothing. Farming education, brought up on a farm, been an employee for 5 or 6 years, and then been running Pearson farming as contract milkers for 10 years, and the contract farming at Kimmel in partnership with Iwan Roberts. So we're 50-50 on all those things. But we've developed Tirlun platform with somebody who really is from a agri-tech background, Johnson Badder. So we co-founded it together. And so he's the innovator and the developer, and my role in it has been accurately explaining the problem, which I am completely versed in over experience.
And I think that's I guess speaks to both technologies, doesn't it, Sam? That sometimes we have someone who's good with technology goes looking for a problem.
Yes.
Whereas I think yourself too, Jeremy, is someone who could see the problem and looking for a solution.
Exactly. Yeah. So this photo is me explaining, speaking by the farm map to Dan, who's a head manager here. Well, So the process is very, very simple, and that's been important to us. It's got to be intuitive how to use it, because it's built by farmers for farmers to use, and we don't want to be bogged down with technology. So the concept exists in most other industries actually, but it seems to be, as farmers, we're maybe slow adopters to this kind of thing, because the phones have been in our pockets since years, but we're not really using it for this purpose. So on the platform, you capture short videos on the farm of how to do all the different tasks that we need to train people or need to delegate, basically. Upload it to the platform in short course format in these categories that you can see on the middle photo there. And then you can assign it to the team. So experience here running 2 farms, and it was actually a catalyst to start this. We were in discussion about running a 3rd farm, was that there's just always going to be new faces every year coming in, and you've got to gear up for that as a business, being able to teach them or to train them, even if they have previous experience on farms. It's not maybe the way that you do things, or we have different technologies like plate meters on other farms and aimer on this farm. So we need to equip everyone with that information as quickly as possible. And we found this to be a really easy way to do a bulk of that, which takes time, which frees up time to be training the more valuable or the more complicated stuff, which you can't really do with a video and that sort of thing. Okay. So you're creating this farm knowledge library, and in effect, this exists on every farm anyway, in a different form, in one form or another, because that's how farms operate. Sure. So generally, this will be in the farmer's mind or the manager, or it's on a really well-run farm. Traditionally, it'll be in everybody's mind, knowing how to do everything. That's the kind of goal that we've always been working towards. Or on, printed out processes and SOPs and things around the farm. So we're just digitizing that and making it in an easy format to share. When I say share, it's not public knowledge. So it's very important to us that this is contained within your business, because it is your business. It's all your USP. It's all your IP, like everything that you know. And you want to be quite careful with that, really, because it's all your processes. That's what you've developed over time. So it's your value as a business, as a service, contract farming service. It's our value to landowners. This is how we do everything and how it gets done. What's changed in our business? So we've been using this in earnest for 14 months, doing a live beta testing. So it's been progressing in that time. Like, we've had feedback from our team and a couple of other early users and myself to kind of decide what things are most valuable and influencing further development. But I'm so confident in it now. The team's really taken to it, and I've had quite a lot of people on it. Probably 30 people or something have been trained and delegated with Tirlun, and it's evolving to be not just the employees. I also have a wider network of people involved in this business, like yourself and the nutritionist Will, the vet Gethin, foot trimmers, mechanic, and that sort of thing. And they all have really specialist knowledge that can help elevate our farm performance. And as a farm manager or a herd manager, you tend to have quite a broad spectrum of skill and things over time, but maybe not the real expertise in each thing. And the skill as a good manager is to bring that expertise in to the point of use in your business, not just to yourself, and you know what to do, but it's not actually happening. And I think that's been a common pitfall for me in previous years, is that maybe I knew things weren't getting done right on the farm. It's very difficult to be everywhere at once. And this is kind of decentralizing that knowledge so that we're able to elevate our performance as a farmer, which benefits everybody because we're all sharing the same knowledge.
For sure. You mentioned there, Sam, that some of the other people that can contribute knowledge to the business. Yeah. So is it such true that they can also take part or have access to the farm accounts then?
Yeah, exactly. So you're able to, as a farmer, you can create the courses on your farm and then get consultants to review your processes to improve them and give you feedback. But also you can invite your network to sort of bypass that. And we've had our vets make some courses for us and put the knowledge directly to the people who work here. There's no point having me involved in that bit. We want the best knowledge we can get getting to our cows, basically.
Sure. Okay. No, that's fantastic, Sam.
So it was just sharing this concept of value in the operational knowledge, because we kind of value all our other physical, tangible assets, but is this more important than them? Maybe because what good is machinery and buildings and stuff if you don't know how to use them? That's where we are. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's a great, a great final point, Sam. I think that's really good and really, really resonates. Certainly for myself in position as a consultant advisor, it's all about knowledge, isn't it? That's what we're trading. But I'm always aware that sometimes when you go to give that knowledge, you're maybe speaking to someone who's not directly going to apply it in the business. They just happen to have attended the meeting, or they happen to have been there when the expert, or if you like, advisor came to visit the business. So
yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah. No, very good. Well, look, we've I've got some questions for both of you, so we'll do a couple of those, and then we'll kind of go to the floor for some of the questions that have been asked and raised there. So, Jeremy, if I can come back to you, I think you said 550 farms or farm businesses using it in New Zealand. Maybe you can just touch on the nature of those businesses. Are they family farms? How's what's the kind of environment like in New Zealand with dairy businesses? And then for those that have been using this, I believe you've been live there for a couple of years. How is it changing, or has it changed how they measure grass and make their grazing decisions?
Yeah, so it's a full mix really of types of farms. So there'll be some that are multiple farms, so they're wanting to get a more consistency across those multiple farms, or it's to the farms where there is really this one sort of font of knowledge in that farm. So, and those latter ones are really wanting to say, okay, well, I like measuring grass, but it's not sustainable for me to carry on doing that. So they're wanting their team to start to measure the grass, start to understand more around the feed wedge, and really trying to expand their team, the knowledge base of those. So, yeah, in terms of, I guess what's changed is that those farms now, rather than saying either the plate meter or the iometer, as we call it, so that might have been 2 or 3 hours. So there's some relatively big farms in New Zealand. I think it's most people are aware it can take a lot of time, and if you don't have that time, so rather than now having a 2 or 3 hour walk, they can cut that down even to a full farm walk to say about an hour and a half, just through the phone and being able to go quickly between paddocks. And then I guess the other element is that that if you're really short on time, you can go down to these partial farm walks. So where you do 30 or 40%, and what AIMA will do is it actually learns about the differences and the growth rate of the paddocks on those farms to then provide.
With that learning, Jeremy, it just speaks to the question that's been asked. Is there a calibration period then? So if someone is to use it on the farm tomorrow, is it ready to go, or does it take a while to learn that?
Yeah, so really you're wanting to after about 3 or 4 farm walks, it actually starts to learn, and it's a little bit airy. How quickly it learns. So it doesn't take too long to learn that, and then it starts to grow those at different rates and all that sort of stuff. Because often, you might want to go paddock 1 to 2 to 3, but 3 and 4 may be slow growing paddocks. So if you're constantly going into those at the same time, you're overgrazing them. That's not the best for them. So it starts to guide that.
Sam, do you want to come in on that? Because I know certainly where we are at Tender, there's a range of there's a range of contour here, isn't there? There's some banks, some hills, and some flat. So you've used AIMA here for half a season now, or maybe a full season over a couple of years. What's your experience been of it, and how have you found the benefit?
I have some experience measuring grass, so I found it really, really easy to use, because you kind of want to check that new things are correct as well. So the practicality of doing it with a plate meter is not really, so it's beneficial to have some experience when you're using it to start with, especially if you want to delegate it to other people who have less experience maybe. But then I found it really accurate, particularly using the estimate part a lot. So when you go to paddock and you've probably estimated it in your head already, and then you check the estimate, and it's very accurate, I think. And I found the scanning, and particularly doing it sort of between 2,000 and 3,000 range to get those paddocks in the right order on the plan. And I've definitely found we've done, not this farm so much, but at Kimmel we've made the decisions quicker this year. So we pulled land out for silage probably 10 days, 2 weeks early. And then we've put some silage in now, and it's gone dry, and I've made that decision quicker as well, and it's just elevated the quality of it.
I think that's funny, Jeremy, wasn't it? That difference in timing that week, either way. Do you think that's becoming more of a challenge because the patterns of weather we're getting what do we have? Guys from Devon through to Gloucester got inch of rain yesterday in places, and on the back of the temperatures today, we've probably got some farms in this country, maybe by the weekend, be growing some will be 100 plus, and some guys have dropped down to 20.
Yeah, exactly.
So, is that changing how you're measuring, or what influence has that had on the system and decisions you're making?
I think, to be honest, here it's making it easy to do means it's definitely done weekly. And then previously I was really struggling to do it weekly. Yeah. Some weeks we miss a week and stuff, just being busy and too key person dependent.
Okay. Yeah.
So doing it weekly and making those decisions quicker, making it easier to do means it gets done.
Sure. Yeah. For you and Sam, I think the recruitment piece, it's a really strong topic, or labour, I guess, and recruitment is a really strong topic within dairy. Yeah. I think it's interesting with Tirlun around how you say got a bank of knowledge that everyone can access. Just talk us through, if you had a new employee coming into the business. Yeah. What does that experience with Tirlun look like for them? Do you give them access to everything? Do you kind of stage it? Yeah. And also, has it had any impact on how or who you recruit to join the team because of this knowledge you have available?
Well, it's obviously opened up that recruitment option to a lot more people, because you don't have to have all the previous experience to start, because you know with confidence that they've got everything that you assigned to them from the start.
Yes.
With the new people starting, so we have an induction one, and then we have setting up the parlour and washing the parlour and that sort of thing, and we are assigning things in stages. So as somebody would start working on a farm and their role would progress, you kind of need to be in front of that with the training part of it. But then going individual to individual, really. So with a recent employee here, he preferred to have everything available as a reference. So that was kind of feedback to me, because it's new for us using it as well, and because you don't know when certain things are going to crop up in the day or in the week. So that's what we've done. So,
and can you see, if you have shared this with, let's say, a new starter, someone who's just joined the team, can you see if they've watched it, and what processes have you got in place, either within Tirlun or just within the business, to check that knowledge is being used and it's actually proving itself useful?
Yeah, well, I think what it does is kind of frees up my time a lot more for the actual management, and having more one-to-one time with people on more complicated topics. So things like the water pipes and all that is all on Tirlun because it's basic. Yeah. And there's a big volume of that in farming. Like, there's a lot of basic stuff that you need to know, but if you don't know it, it's all complicated and difficult. Yeah. So there's a activity under each course that shows the admin who's been trained in what topic. Yeah. And then there's a timestamp on everything as well. So, it's handy to know when people have been trained in things, when you've been assigned and that sort.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. No, that's great. Right, we'll just take a look at some questions, and there's one that's moved off the outside the box, which is from Neil, and that's could you do this with a drone then, Jeremy? If you need, I guess you need to be in the paddock in order to do that kind of 180-degree scan. So rather than walking, particularly today where it's light winds but it's pretty hot, is that something you guys are looking at?
Yeah, so no, we're definitely looking at the drone. So when people say this, naturally it's the arms things. I think people like their toys. So yeah, we are looking at the drone where it would go from field to field, measuring the pasture, taking the images, and then feeding that into AIMA. So it is an active area of development. Certainly for New Zealand, we also have the satellite measurement as well. So yeah, we see that, that automated through to the phone. The phone is very convenient. It's always on. It's highly accurate. So that's the default, I guess. But yeah, certainly those extensions is definitely possible.
And what's the vision, Jeremy? Is this the start, and then you're going to stand up a farm management platform behind it? What's AIMA trying to do?
Yeah, so it's very much founded on that problem around measuring grass first, but the wider parts of AIMA that we have, it auto-generates a grazing plan that will serve up more detailed insights as you go through that. So very much that sort of farm consultant, digital assistant that's in there, very much on our proprietary models. So rather than, you need trust in what's coming out, so it would go away, run a scenario. So you're looking at a conservation decision. It might say, actually, I think on any given day, you could drop out these paddocks, 3 paddocks. Now, actually confidently do that. So whereas at the moment, people they explore that on the web app, look at that and yeah, look at the optimization score that we have and play that out. But we realise that people are now leaning into the voice communication and wanting to serve that up. So try to make it accessible as possible to everyone.
Sure. And why now? What's changed within technology? Obviously, AI is really seems to be here, and it's even in the title of the product, Sam, for you. So, what about the product is AI, and why and how is that adding value?
Yeah, so I think the smartphones have advanced now quite considerably in terms of their processing power. So now being able to do that on a smartphone, direct, rather than sending the data somewhere to compute, I think that is now advanced, and we've spent a lot of time doing that because connectivity is poor even here in many parts of the world, so that accessibility. So that's probably the big, I guess, transformation, that you can do it on that smartphone now. Things have come on, so and then it's just as everyone knows, ChatGPT, when it came out, it sort of changed everything, and we're building on that. But I guess the key unique difference is that the models, we build the models so that they've got guardrails, they don't go off on a tangent. You need to trust that you're feeding cattle, you don't want an incident on farm, we don't want an incident on farm. So it's key to have that real foundation. So a number in our team are, I guess I've been a farmer myself, got a biological background. It's a biological system. So just be aware of that.
And some of yourself, it's in the title. So what is in or about the product that has AI, and why include that piece?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we launched this live only like 3 months ago, and we thought it was something that's probably going to become more part of it. At the minute, the AI part of Tirlun is that AI will create a standard operating procedure for you from your video.
A paper copy, but could it be a paper copy?
Yeah, it's downloadable PDF.
Okay, so and that's listening to what the text or speech has been recorded in the video. Yeah, and then it's transcribing that. No, not exactly. It does the images and the text and everything. So it breaks it down, and creates a standard operating procedure. So that's how it works. Okay. Do you use those within the business itself? Is that for more health and safety compliance, and to show that this? So not all the courses are applicable to standard operating procedure, because a lot of them are just knowledge. So you might say where something is or stuff like this, or a concept on the grazing and the pre-mowing or things like this. But the ones that are, and I do make one, and they're available underneath the course. Some people learn differently, and they want to read it. And the other part of it is that as the AI change, you can select like a light version or a more detailed version. So on some things you need to be more detailed, like on the calf feeding, things like that. Some things you just want bullet points how to do it. Could you perhaps run through a list, of things you have on the platform? Because I think it's interesting that you said, so you've got I guess how to join a water pipe. Yeah, quite mechanical. I do one of them. Yeah. But then also you said things like knowledge sharing. So what have you been doing or capturing that's knowledge? Because it's interesting. There's lots of knowledge, things that you just know that the wider team at some point would maybe want to know, especially I guess we talk things like succession in the business, and the handling of that generational knowledge. So if you've been using the Tirlun as the platform to do some of that. I think some of that, but probably freeing up more of my time to do that as the one-to-one part of training, and when we discuss with the staff and stuff like that. But basically it's falling into 3 categories. So you have the generic stuff, which is how to use equipment, and that's the same on every farm. So how to operate a quad bike is the same on any farm, or the water fittings and stuff. And then you have the farm specific, which is where how the water system works in this farm and that sort of thing. And then you have the knowledge, like you're saying, so where feeding or veterinary stuff and things like that is knowledge, and it's maybe longer form courses that are more planned, and you can bring experts in to help you with those ones. Okay, very good. Question back to yourself and Jeremy. Obviously, there's a couple, and just want to come from Francesca now. So, what about AIMA for diverse swords? Let's call them herbal or multi-species swords. With I guess some government policy encouragement, and also just with the nature of weather, sort of climate events we're seeing in the UK. A number of farmers, dairy farmers, have put in some pretty mixed species herbal days. We've actually got a chance to see a couple of them, didn't we, on the trip this week? So what is AIMA calibrated to, and yeah, what's coming.
So currently, AIMA is calibrated very much to the perennial ryegrass clover dominant pastures, but it's active working with James through Adopt funding. We're actively developing models for herbal lay pastures, so those more diverse pastures where you've got plantain, chicory in the mix and that sort of stuff. So it's a little bit more of a challenging problem, but we are very actively working on that, getting sufficient data to then roll it out. So how that might look like for a farmer, then they might say, okay, this is a herbal lay pasture that uses a different model to estimate the mass on there. So because
it's a real challenge, you know. It's, for some people, it's now 20%, even up to 50% of the platform is herbal lays, and a lot of people have to stop measuring as they were. And you know, and if people are building a lot of experience how to graze these lays, for certainly to get milk off them. But they're becoming harder to quantify, and as we see, you know, periods of weather which are becoming more, I guess, unpredictable, then I guess having a hard number to put against that cover to make sure the round length's appropriate, you're managing the quality, is going to be really useful. So I'm personally looking forward to that coming through in the app.
That's right, and it is very difficult with a plate meter to measure when you've got the stalks coming out. So yeah, it's just not practical, I think, to use a plate meter. So I think our technology provides a good option for that.
Okay, great. Well, I think we'll come back to this piece. So we've mentioned there's AI and a bit of intelligence built into both products. Where do you guys sit personally on the position that it's going to come into into every industry and displace a load of people? What's your thought? Is it a threat or is it benefit? And how do you think what we're going to see in the next 10 years within dairy, and I guess specifically within dairies for whom grazing is a big part of the business today?
Yeah, I think what's exciting about it to me is very capable people being displaced out of other industries, suddenly available for work in the most interesting business that you can get, which is dairy farming, and then coming to see an outside healthy job, really interesting, loads of purpose, and get them involved, isn't it? And if you've got an easy way to train those people and easy ways to do the tasks like measuring grass and stuff, and it opens up the recruitment.
So what skills are you going to be recruiting for, Sam, and going forward? If it's less around the operational knowledge, so they've got 10 years milking experience, what kind of attributes are you thinking?
Attitude for everything. So definitely, like our milk buyer, basically headline is hire for attitude and train good people. Yeah. So that's what everybody wants to.
Okay, great. Yeah. And for Joey, where do you see the future? For the industry in New Zealand and perhaps also for here with technology?
Yeah, so I think it'll just allow you to automate some of the tasks that maybe are not the £50 an hour type tasks, the ones that, okay, you've got the technology that you can automate that, but I don't think it's going to replace people. You need that, that insight. It's going to, augment your knowledge, improve it, and really probably bring that, that learning period a lot shorter. So really just, fast tracking some people into the industry. I think it's going to attract new people into the industry as well, because technology now actively used on there. So yeah, I think it's exciting times.
And in New Zealand, have you got this AIMA being used by both consultants, advisors alongside the farmers in support of the farm, to support the farm businesses they're working with?
It is. So the consultants can get a login, and then they can see very quickly, okay, what's the pasture situation, and then really get to the meat and veg in terms of making those better decisions. So it's a mix of both the farmers, the farm workers, and all there getting the benefits of that. So seeing that, sort of fitting into their operations and that sort of stuff. So rather than necessarily saying, can you go out and measure pasture, it's there for them now to quickly make those decisions.
Okay, well, thank you, Jeremy. Well, I think we've covered to talk most of the questions we've had in. So if there's any other questions to ask, then please do so. I think a bit of a wrap up for me. That's a good one to been passed through. So when's it available, Jeremy? When is AIMA available?
Yeah, so a week's time, effectively it goes officially live. So there's farmers using it already. So there'll be a bit of contact details later, so you can check out and do early sign-ups. Very exciting to see it launched down the side of the world. So
So For you, Jeremy, the kind of call is if you're interested in trying, if anyone's interested in trying AIMA on their farm, then what is it? Head to the website.
That's right.
Or scan that QR code.
Yeah. So the website is AIMA-farming with the UK at the end. Really what you see there. There's some more information on that website. Some stories of farmers that have been using it for the last 6 months, so including Sam and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's been stress tested already. So it's key for us to go through that, like that beta testing phase. So go on there. You can either sign up or I understand there'll be an email going out tomorrow with some more details. So check that out. Touch base with the Precision Grazing team. Great team. They'll support you. Over here.
Okay. So Sam, the next step for you is to go to the website, and they can find out.
Yeah, exactly. There's a free trial as well, so get there and have a go. That's the best.
Yeah, cool. So, and I think Jeremy, you kind of said, everyone who's registered to the webinar, you'll get a copy of. We'll get an email tomorrow, basically, which will have, I think, copy of the recording. I guess probably the slides you can happy to share.
Yeah, sure.
Those sound, Jeremy.
Yeah.
And kind of details on next steps, links to the website. If you want to get there first, then by all means go on and have a look. Just to close us off, I think this is a cracking question. So I'll stop screen sharing and we come back and answer this one live. So Aaron has just asked, what's your thoughts on staff spending more time on their phone? So we realise that it's with them anyway, but I appreciate it's a challenging business. So how are we managing that, and how what's your thoughts?
With Tirlun, it's there as a reference for these things, but we find that almost everybody's just watching these courses once, and we're making them as compact as possible to share that information. I don't know a quicker way to transfer it, whether it be a one-to-one discussion or watching a video, and we're making time in the week for training, so it will be an afternoon and it's on computer or phone. It's not that they're looking at the phone all the time every time they're doing a job. They're training themselves, and then they're able to do the work, do the tasks.
Sure. Jeremy, it's similar to you. What's your personal view on phones and devices and how they're fitting with our teams?
I think it's a reality. Everyone has a smartphone now, so making it useful for other things on there to do that, measure the pasture or get the insights. I think is the way. But still, you need that personal experience. So you're out in the field as well. Doing that sort of stuff. So I think we have to embrace that. Obviously, highly productive. Then on your phone, you're doing things there. So
I guess if they're good on the phone, it's nice to know they're using it for work and not for other purposes. And I guess it's also setting up the business culture in terms of what's acceptable.
Yeah, exactly.
The benefit of the phone, of course, is that most people have it with them. And so things like the plate meter where I would have measured that paddock, but the plate meter was back at the office or in the shed or in the yard, and or it falls off the quad, and those kind of hang-ups. And same for you, Sam, the knowledge, better for the knowledge to be with them than for them to try and call someone else in the business who holds that knowledge when they need that to immediately, don't they?
Yeah, exactly, and it's the accountability as well, isn't it? Like they're spending that time. I'd rather they were doing the task correctly.
Sure.
They prefer it as well to know my expectations, and I just find it's working all right.
And we do have also farms where they're very large farms. They actually have little squads. I'll say, okay, you do this section of the farm, you do that section, and it all syncs up and that sort of stuff. So you can get it very rapidly done when you have this.
Which is an interesting comment, because to date, plate metering has been the job of an individual.
Yes.
Quite often, normally an experienced individual in the business, capable of a range of tasks. So actually make that available for the wider team to participate in, and not just participate in the discussion post measurement, but actually participate in the measuring with some experience. Really changes how that job is done on farm. Well, look, fantastic. Thank you all for joining us and for your questions. I hope this gave you the opportunity to spend some time somewhere cool. If you can find one of those available on the farm or in the buildings. Appreciate your interest. We'll be in touch via email. And to Sam and to Jeremy, thank you both very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks all.